we used to have an expression in the Jesus movement that your attitude affected your altitude. No, really. I mean, think about it. If your attitude was bad, then it kind of weighed you down, and you wouldn't get much altitude when it came to the rapture. You know, Jesus would say, come on up, and you'd be hanging on to something down below. You know, your attitude would be dragging you down. When you should have rose up, you kind of got pulled back down. And that's kind of what Lot's wife was all about. You know, it was kind of like they had a chance to get out while they could. But she kind of looked back and made the mistake of kind of longing for what was behind her rather than what was in front of her. And a lot of times that's where we get a problem, is that a lot of people, they like to see what's behind you rather than what's in front of you. They don't seem to recognize that where you're headed is so much better than where you've been. And God wants you to be inspired by where you're going rather than where you're coming from. Because where you're coming from, hey, I think we've all been there. We kind of know where we're coming from. But what we're really looking forward to is where we're going. So you got to keep your eyes on the prize. You know, kind of like looking forward to Jesus, looking to Jesus, the author and finisher of our faith. And remember that. He's the author. That means He's the one doing it. He's writing it. And He's the finisher. That means He's going to complete the work in you. You don't really have much to do about it. You kind of got to participate with Him, you know, and kind of agree with what He's doing. But quite frankly, every time you stick your thumb in it, you don't pull out a plum. Sometimes when you stick your thumb in it, you get your finger stuck in the door because He's trying to slam the door shut. So you got to be ready with your attitude to get some altitude. And the reason why you want to change your attitude in the morning is because you affect almost everything you touch in the day. So when you start with the right attitude, you're going to get a lot of altitude out of your day. And who knows, you might help someone else along the way. That's kind of why we choose to study, to show ourselves approved, workmen need not be ashamed. We choose to devote ourselves to devotions, to read them and to apply them to our lives. We choose to change the way that we're experiencing our day so that way we could learn to have the right way to walk, the right way to talk, the right way to be as a Christian in love with God today, so that we would be the light of the world and not just the stumbling block. Experience His joy. Yet I will rejoice in the Lord. I will joy in the God of my salvation. Habakkuk 3:18, King James. King James, who cares? Whichever Bible you read is fine with me. God created us with the ability to laugh, so we must need to laugh. Otherwise, why would He do it? Good reason. Not too many people know how to laugh. People say that I've got a good deep belly laugh. Whenever I feel like it. But I'm not always given something to laugh about. Until I start looking around and realize, you take that serious? You gotta be kidding me. The Word says, a happy heart is good medicine, and a cheerful mind works healing. Proverbs 17:22. Jesus said that His joy would be in us so that we may experience His delight. He wants to fill our hearts with His gladness. See John 17:13. Jesus wants us to experience His joy, not just preach about it or teach about it or just kind of like talk about it, but do it. You know, just do it. Everybody doing it, doing it, doing it, laughing and enjoying it. Well, sort of. Or read books about it. He wants us to experience His joy. It's not always about being joy, but, you know, kind of enjoy. You know, being in His joy. That's how you could kind of respell the E-N. Put a I-N and you'll figure out how to get joy. Because it's in Him, in joy. And joy is fruit of the Spirit. So if you're in Him, then guess what? You get joy. Pretty simple. I am the vine, you are the branches, and you bear much fruit. But without me, you can do nothing. So guess what? You want joy? Get it from Jesus. Joy greatly depends on how you view life. So if you need help getting your sense of humor back, Take a look in a mirror. No, I'm kidding. Look at me. When I wake up in the morning, I'm a mess. That's why I kind of enjoy my joyful times with the Lord. Because I really need work on my appearance. Ask God to show you the lighter side of life today. Don't hesitate to laugh when you suddenly feel joyful. You will quickly find that joy is very contagious. One of the things I've always loved about my mother was that she had the ability to laugh. Boy, did she have reasons not to. If there ever was a woman that really had no reason to laugh, it was my mother. But she was sarcastic, but also funny. She could come up with some of the stuff that just made people laugh. And she would have this deep, barrel-rolling laughter that wherever she was, you knew she was there. Matter of fact, in church, you knew that she was in the building because somewhere in the back, something had hit her funny and she'd start laughing. Same thing with me. You know when I'm in your church because I'll sit there and, it'd be all real serious and then suddenly I'll just, something will hit me funny and I'll laugh about it. And everybody will kind of like, ooh, shh. No, they don't say shush, but they're thinking it. But that's just the way I am. If it's funny, no offense to anybody else, I'm going to laugh about it. How about you? Don't you think there's something funny about some of the stuff we're going through? After all, God's got it in control. So what are we worried about?